العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. All praise and thanks belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May the peace and blessing of Allah be upon His servant and final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As to our followers, just something very quickly that it's like a lesson that Allah Azza wa Jal teaches us in the Quran. This is in Surah Inshiqaq. He says at the beginning of it, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, إِذَا السَّمَاءُ انشَقَّتْ وَأَذِنَتْ لِرَبِّهَا وَحُقَّتْ. So he speaks about the final and the conclusion of what happens to the sky, and he says, إِذَا السَّمَاءُ انشَقَّتْ, when the sky is split. And this is of course something of the signs of the Day of Judgment, and something that happens to the sky on the Day of Judgment itself, and where Allah splits it and He destroys it. And Shaqqat is a verb that is used to describe something that comes to its end, and it's an irreversible process. So Shaqqat is to actually split something along its length, and that's it, it's done, and it's in a state where you cannot reverse it, and you cannot pull it back together. So this is the last and the inevitable process, or the inevitable stage of the sky, in where Shaqqat occurs to it. Now then, the ayah straight after it is where the lesson is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَذِنَتْ لِرَبِّهَا. He's giving us something of information about this sky and what has it done. All its life, what has it done? He said, وَأَذِنَتْ لِرَبِّهَا. أَذِنَتْ لِرَبِّهَا means that it listened and obeyed. It listened carefully to its Lord and it obeyed. The word أَذِنَ comes from أَذِنَ يَأْذَنُ أُذُنًا. أَذِنَ يَأْذَنُ أُذُنًا, which means to listen carefully to someone and to obey these instructions. That's what أَذِنَ means. And there is another one, أَذِنَ يَأْذَنُ إِذْنًا, which means permission. So they confuse the two. This أَذِنَ here means to listen carefully and to obey. So Allah gives us some information about the sky. He says it listened very carefully to its Lord, أَذِنَتْ لِرَبِّهَا, and it obeyed Allah's instruction, وَحُقَّتْ, and it was only rightfully for it to do so, that it would listen to Allah's command and obey. What other choice does it have? So Allah Azza wa Jal, He tells us in Surah Fussilat something in detail about this story and this conversation that happened between Allah Azza wa Jal and the sky and the earth as well. So He says, ثُمَّ اسْتَوَى إِلَى السَّمَاءِ وَهِيَ دُخَانٌ. That Allah Azza wa Jal, He rose to the heaven and it was still in the form of smoke. Then He created the sky, and then He spoke and He told the sky, ائتيا طوعا أو كرها فقال لها والأرض ائتيا طوعا أو كرها. He told the skies, the heavens, the skies, and the earth, He told them, ائتيا طوعا أو كرها. Come forward in submission to Allah's command, طوعا, willingly, or karha, or forcefully. Which one you want to choose? So both of them said, قَالَتَا أَتَيْنَا طَائِعِينَ. They both said, we come forward in submission to your command willingly. Now here's the lesson to be learned. The sky and the earth are much more intense of a creation than the human being. Right? Allah Azza wa Jal says, لَخَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَكْبَرُ مِنْ خَلْقِ النَّاسِ. That's something that Allah makes as a fact in the Quran. That the creation of the skies and of the earth are much more intense and stronger than the creation of the human being. Now, the sky is something that is of an intense creation. The sky doesn't have the responsibility of worship. It doesn't have a responsibility of worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal because it didn't carry the amana. The amana is the trust to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The human took that. The sky will not be resurrected on the Day of Judgment and asked for everything and what it did and what it didn't do and what it said and what it didn't say. Once it's destroyed, it's done and it's finished. It doesn't come forward on the Day of Judgment for questioning. And with all this in account, look how it comes and it obeys Allah Azza wa Jal willingly without force. This is a lesson in itself that we reflect upon ourselves. Now reflect upon the human, contrast this to the human, who's a weak creation first. He's much, much weaker than the sky and the earth. Right? مِن نُطْفَةٍ خَلَقَهُ. From a sperm you were created. So this is this puny weak creation of yours. And you'll be and you carried the amana, you carried the trust of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانِ. And the human burdened himself with it. he burdened himself with the amana, which is the responsibility of worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. The human he's recorded, everything is recorded of what he says, of good words and bad words, and what is recorded also is his good actions and his bad actions. And the human will be resurrected on the Day of Judgment, and he'll come forward for the questioning and the judgment before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And still the human, when it comes to the command of Allah, does he come forcefully or does he come willingly? This is something for you to reflect upon. And this is why Allah Azza wa Jal specifically teaches us something about the sky. And then the ayah after he says, وَإِذَا الْأَرْضُ مُدَّتْ وَأَلْقَتْ مَا فِيهَا وَتَخَلَّتْ وَأَذِنَتْ لِرَبِّهَا وَحُقَّتْ. Again he repeats the same phrase, but now this time to the earth. Every time you read this, you're supposed to reflect, man, this sky and this earth is something even much more intense of a creation than me. And it's not even questioned, and it's not even judged on the Day of Judgment, won't even be resurrected. And it still obeys Allah's command, and it listens to Allah's command willingly. And it comes forward in submission to Allah willingly. Now compare this to you, which is a weaker creation, and everything is recorded, and you're going to be resurrected, and you're going to be judged. So when you compare the two, you say that the human, he's more rightful that he should obey Allah Azza wa Jal's command, and worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal, listening to the command and obeying it. For this is a lesson that Allah Azza wa Jal teaches us. Every time you see the sky and you see the earth, this is what you're supposed to reflect upon. This one thing you're supposed to say, have I become like this sky? Look how intense it is. And if anything, the sky had a much more better chance to go against Allah's command than you have, because it's much more stronger than you. But even in that case, it came forward in submission to Allah's command. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make us of people who come submittingly and willingly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. Make us people of the Quran, people who benefit from the reminders of the Quran. إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.